Hello, Shoyan here. Today, I'm laying the solid wood flooring along the edge of the Japanese-style room. Then I installed the solid wood jambs for the sliding door and the daiwa above. This time, I'm laying 15mm hinoki cypress floorboards over the subfloor from last time. The span is exactly 3 meters. Floorboards come in 3 lengths, 2 meters, 3 meters, and 4 meters. I had one bundle of 3-meter boards left over, so the timing worked out perfectly. Even with 4-meter boards for a 3-meter span, you'd always end up with waste. A bundle covers about 3.3 square meters, and 3-meter boards give you 1 extra piece per bundle compared to 4-meter ones. I'm glad it worked out perfectly for this area.
なんでもんどん
いやほら猫こねするやろ
猫
猫いるかな
Now, I apply glue and fasten with 4mm staples. For 15mm thick boards, stapling is the only option. If these were 30mm joistless floorboards, I'd use screws and get a really solid hold. But with these boards, I can run the full length in one piece. No seams or joints in between, and it looks clean. Just because you use glue doesn't mean you'll completely eliminate floor squeaks. It can squeak whether you glue it or not. Solid wood is just tricky that way. That said, gluing does help resist warping, so it's worth doing. Originally, this flooring section was planned to have tatami laid down to make a 7.5 tatami mat room. But since the owner is planning to put a TV, a heater, and possibly furniture here, the decision was made to use solid wood flooring instead. This way, the tatami area stays at a clean 6 mats. 7.5 mats would have been a bit of an unusual layout. Thinking about how the space will actually be used, solid wood flooring makes the most sense. The last row ended up a little narrow, but if I had distributed that difference across the whole floor, the board next to the shiki in the middle of the room would have ended up 3 centimeters narrower. That would have looked off, so I let the adjustment happen at the edge near the doorway instead. The narrower the board, the harder it is to fit. But since both the shiki and the flooring are hinoki cypress, even a slightly narrow board still looks clean. The floor is done. Next, I install a daiwa, similar to a kamoi but with a different function. The wallpaper in this room will be replaced, but we're keeping the existing crown molding in place. That means if I remove this crown molding running across the middle of the room, there's no clean way to end the remaining crown molding. So I leave the existing crown molding as is and add this new exposed daiwa directly below it. That new piece will look clean and finished on its own, while also letting the original crown molding join neatly. However, the ceiling won't be unified as one continuous surface. There will be a break here. But the floor changes to solid wood from this line and the ceiling wallpaper won't change. So the break at the daiwa reads as a design detail, and I think that works just fine.
手で頑張る。
痛い。
At the boundary between the new threshold and daiwa, I install trim to create a clean break between the covered column wall okabe and the exposed column wall shinkabe sections. I can't just drive fasteners straight through the face here, so I start by tacking it in from the okabe side with finish nails, then finish with screws driven in at an angle for a solid hold. This piece is a bit large, but since the okabe wall frame will project forward from the newly added section, I need to account for the thickness of the furring strips, so the larger piece is the right call. This house uses a wider metric module, not a typical shaku module. So even after converting to okabe, where the wall frame projects forward, you can still get a wider opening, which is great. Next, I work on the kamoyan side jamb for the addition entryway. This opening will have a top-hung sliding door. Since I can't run the door over the tatami side, I'll route it over the solid wood floor section in the middle. There's no threshold or floor track. It just floats above the floor. It's a simple door jamb with a right angle setup. Just two pieces, the top kamoi and one vertical jamb on the side. If I framed it three ways, I'd end up with a vertical jamb sticking out in the middle of the wall. Either way, you need to leave clearance for the door to slide, but without that extra jamb, you can push furniture closer to the door and the wall runs straight and clean right to the corner of the opening, which looks great.
아,折れた。折れた。あ、これどうです。
こんな先っちょもげるもんの。
最後にガッとこう締めるのって。
When installing a door frame for a top-hung door with just two pieces like this, it may sound simple because there are only a few parts. But actually, a three-sided or four-sided frame is much easier to fasten. That's because the mullion has to be perfectly plumb, and with a top-hung door, the kamoi has to be both level and plumb as well. If the pieces are bowed or twisted, it's even worse. It's basic stuff, but checking plumb and level on every piece as you go, that's what matters. With fewer pieces, each one is completely free, not locked into a pre-assembled frame, and that's what makes it harder to install. The center mullion will also land on the outside face of the column. So instead, I attach backing to the mullion itself, then fasten that backing to the face of the column. Of course, the column has a slight lean to it, so I adjust as I go to make sure the mullion ends up plumb. Whether it's a renovation or new construction, plumb and level are essential when building a door frame to fit right. Now, in the space between these two rooms, I finished laying the hinoki cypress flooring. Hinoki has a beautiful look. The door jamb and the daiwa along the older ceiling are also done. Now I can move on to the ceiling work. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.